to have. Alright, baby, let's go ahead and do this thing. Let's welcome everybody. We are going to jump into another semi-final set and then into the finals as Medico and LaPeste are going to go ahead and duke it out PvP style. This is a Masters versus Masters. And on the top right of Entombed Ladder Edition, we are going to go ahead and see good old Medic. Medic! It's like a Brood War thing. Medic! Because in Brood War they had medics, but it wasn't Protoss. Medic. And LaPeste is going to go ahead and spawn at the bottom right as a orange Protoss. No, I have seen it, Cagnap. I've seen it spammed everywhere. Yes, I've seen it spammed many a times. I believe everyone's seen it. Alrighty, we do have these two players starting off. Two very high-placed players. Two Master Leaguers gonna duke it out PvP style. Take out your notepads. We're gonna have an in-base. We are gonna have essentially identical builds going on so far. Both players actually, it looks like LaPeste is opting to scout cross position, wanting to touch this tower. It isn't uncommon to get cheesed. Very interesting, he's opting to touch that tower and then go to the right. Very common to see two gates go ahead and get proxied here as your opponent is assuming that you're just going to go around the world. There's two players. There's an eerie silence. Second guess is going to go ahead and be taken for good old LaPeste. Well, this probe, Medico's probe, isn't going to scout quite yet. LaPeste was able to get the first scout in. Is going to see what is looking like a 3-stalker opener. However, I don't think LaPeste is going. I don't think Medic is going to be dealing with a. I don't think he's going to be dealing with a 4-gate. We aren't seeing any chrono boost on the warp gate tech or the gateway. Third pylon is going down in base. Not quite sure quite yet where Medic wants to go from here, as he is going to go ahead and finally scout his opponent's base. Is going to see 2 gases and a very fast robotics facility following up. This could turn into a 1-base Colossus. How standard would that be? Still full chrono boost on both players. We're going to see Stalkers coming out. What are the next 2 units that good old Medic wants to do? He does have his gas on the way. Is he going to plop down 2 more gateways, perhaps a robotic facility of his own? Looks like we are going to see another 4th Stalker actually being chronoed out. These Stalkers are running around the map to look for proxies. Even though he did see the double gases in the robo, he's worried. And three gates total, 3 gates in a row. Is this gonna be an immortal push? Perhaps some kind of fast expansion. These Stalkers are gonna go ahead and venture out forward. 5 Stalkers total to meet this robotic tech, as he is gonna go ahead and go 2-gate robo, while his opponent went 1-gate robo and through 2 more gates. His force field might be critical if he could jump in here, but the Immortal is going to go ahead and get popped out, making the uphill battle extremely difficult for good old Medic. He's going to run up, and it looks like he may lose 1 sentry. That Stalker, not going to lose any sentries. That Stalker, purely for scouting purposes. Very interesting trade there. 1 sentry, 1 immortal, 1 zealot, as well as 3 stalkers. Going to go ahead and push out, and this observer is going to see an expansion going down, as Medic might be assuming that he's going to see 1 base Colossus. And if you play it right, a 2 base Colossus will always beat a 1 base Colossus. But you got to have your times, you got to have your timings down very crisp and very smooth if you want it to work out. And we are going to see the proxy pylon going down. This expansion looks like it's not going to get very far. This immortal push is going to be way too much for him to take. No sentries out on the field, and it looks like Medic's ramp is breached. All the probes coming off the line. And the probes are going to be more than enough to go ahead and force these units out. 1 force field going down before that sentry kicks it. And it looks like this Nexus is going to go down. Colossus Tech is out. No Colossus in production, though. We're not seeing any Colossus Tech out for LaPeste. As he is going to take away this Nexus, he will also go ahead and grab his own Nexus. And right now, 1 sentry is out. For these Masters player, 1 sentry could mean the end of a game. It can give the opponent so much of a really big advantage. We're going to see 1 force field actually forcing the sentry out a little bit. Right now, these units don't have vision of the high ground. However, good old Medic doesn't have any more sentries on the field. If LaPeste wants to move up, he's going to have nothing to stop him. Now, it looks like LaPeste is fine. Is just fine with staying below this ramp and grabbing his expansion. Poor little probe, not going to live too much longer. And right now, it looks like we are going to actually see the 1 base Colossus coming out of Medic instead of LaPeste, even though LaPeste got his second gas so much faster. Where's all this gas going? It was going to those early sentries, I believe. War Prism is going to allow him to break this ramp, even though he doesn't know that there's only 1 force field just now in Medic's army. Nonetheless, he is going to be able to warp some units. Will he try to warp some zealots and run them past so that he can move up this ramp? Looks like he's not even going to need to warp in zealots. He's just going to go ahead and drop them. And here we go. Medic trying to move down. A nice force field going down. However, 4 immortals versus 1 Colossus isn't going to be a good trade. However, these zealots are going to be the ushers. These zealots are the force fields to keep this Colossus alive. And we do have harassment going down. Zealots in the main of good old Medics, as Medics may feel forced, like he's forced into pushing forward. His whole army is in the middle of the map, and right now he's going to go ahead and push forward. It looks like we are going to see some kind of base race going on. However, LaPeste winning the ground engagement at the main of Medics. Medics probes running away. Medic doesn't have any money in the bank right now. He can't rebuild a Nexus or anything. Nice force fields going down. This Colossus getting dangerously close to the Immortals. These Immortals doing massive damage, 50 damage against these Colossus. As we do have 350 hit points total. Oh, this poor Colossus is going to get pewed away. However, these force fields, are we going to see any more force fields on the ground? These Immortals gunning directly for the Colossus. At least one of them is now. Looks like these sentries are actually winning. I mean, these probes are winning the ground battle. However, LaPeste does have the economy to keep making units, while Medic can't make any more units from now on. Desperation force field, and it looks like Medic might actually be able to pull this out. It looks like the Zealot plus 1 Colossus. Ooh, baby, and that Colossus does get popped down. Not really sure how that Colossus got popped down, to be honest. I kind of think this Immortal killed his own Colossus. And we do have a lot of Zealots. It looks like both players have no probes. What a close game. Holy moly, that was very, very close, very tense. But it does look like Medic was able to take the win. We will be back in just a moment, homie G's. The next game.